more people came to today's workshop. So before starting the workshop, I would request everyone to mute their mic during workshop in between. If you have any questions or query, then you can put that in the chat and I will answer at end of the presentation. So with that, I will begin with my presentation now. So let's see in the sales what we have done. So customer wise business target. So, in the previous version of OurSys, the customer master had a section where you can specify the business target for each customer. Against that, you could compare how much business has been generated from that customer against the target. So, this feature helped to monitor how each customer were performing based on the goals assigned to them. So what we have done in this version is we have added a feature that let you create a separate master record for customer specific business target. That means you can now set and manage business goal for each customer individually. Additionally, you can generate a report to see how well each customer is doing in meeting their assigned goals. This helps in tracking performance more efficiently for every customer. So with the help of the image, let us understand. So in the master section, we have given a link called customer target business, where against the customer wise, you can define the target business that you are expecting from the particular customer, as well as you can define the date range between the target that you have set. Now, once the master is created, your normal sales flow goes and you generate invoice against the customer. So, under the MIS, we have given you a report called Customer Target Business Report, where automatically the revenue the customer has generated for you will get updated here, as well as what was the current target as of now will show. Now, moving to the next report, sales order detailed report is enhanced. So, previously, users were unable to see the total quantities in the sales order detailed report according to the unit of measurement used, such as kilograms, liter, or pieces. This made it harder for them to quickly understand how much each item was ordered. So, we have added a new feature that shows the total quantity of each unit of measurement directly in the sales order detail report. This makes it easier for the user to quickly see and track the total quantities based on the unit of measurement in the report. As you can see in the image here, under the sales model, we have given a report called sales order detail report. Now, under the detailed report, we have given you a drop down called unit of measurement wise summary, where you can see the UM had came here against which the order are booked with the total quantity, yeah, against the schedule, the invoice quantity, as well as the total balance quantity. Moving to the next model, that is purchase. So, list of pending purchase requisition for purchase order from RFQ is enhanced. So OurSys allow user to create a purchase order for a supplier using item from request for quotation. However, user had to manually select each line item one by one from the request for quotation to include them in one purchase order. So in the new feature in OurSys, now user easily select all the line item related to a single supplier in one go. So if there are multiple RFQs and you have finalized one supplier, then you can directly select all the line item in one go. So this simplifies the process as well as saves the time and reduce manual steps. In the purchase module, we had a link called list of pending PR for PO from RFQ. Here now, if against one supplier, different line item are approved from multiple RFQ, then system will directly show under that in one row. So you can directly select that and convert your RFQ in one purchase order directly from here. Moving to the next model, that is receiving. Option to record transporter detail while doing the receiving entry in OurSys. So in previous version of OurSys, we do not have facility to record any transport related detail while receiving material either from our vendor or from the customer. So to tackle that, in the latest version of OurSys, a new feature has been added to the receiving entry processes. Now it is available at the material receiving from supplier as well as from the customer. So user can record important details such as transporter's name, e-bill number, e-bill date while generating goods receipt note. So in the receiving module, a link called receiving, where while making a receiving entry, GRN entry, an additional field would be available to the user. They can enter their transporter detail as well as their e-bill number detail. Moving to the next module, that is production. So previously, if user wanted to see which part are rejected during the final inspection of item, so they have to manually go through the entire production report. Oh, sorry for the disturbance caused. So previously in production module, in some cases, if user need to make and track a record of the production based on the individual serial number. For example, if a job is made for 10 line item, so earlier user need to create 10 job order and need to record detail of every item job order wise. So he or she has to create 10 job card, which was very hectic and it was very time consuming task. So in the latest version of OurSys, now we have given provision at the job order level where user can define the serial number wise production, and based on that the production flow will begin. So once if you are producing 10 job order, so a 10 serial number will be generated in our sys, and based on that the production and the quality inspection will be done. So for example, if one lot gets rejected from one serial number, so it won't go further and their record will be saved. Now let us understand with the help of image here. As you can see here, while generating a job order, system is asking number of identification required. So by default, it will pick from the job order quantity. As you can see here, once we generate the job order, the identification number will get auto generated. Now, when we are doing any production entry, for example, if, I am manufacturing the item against the first process, that is for machining. Here you can see system is asking me the identification number. So in the first process, I am select manufacturing for first five quantities, and here while clicking on identification number, system is showing me the all the serial number that were generated at the job card screen. Now here I will select the serial number according to the material that I'm producing. Here I can either accept them or reject them. So once the material gets rejected, the particular serial number won't get carry forward to the next process or for inspection. Once the selection is done, we save the record and the production entry here. Now While making production for the second entry in the system, you can see I have selected the process for grinding, that is the second process. Here, if I click on the identification number, system will only show me the serial number from the previous production batch that were accepted. So now user won't have to create multiple job order to keep their record separately. And accordingly, their inspection will be done as well as the production reading will be taken, where system will give you the serial number drop down. Now, manufacturing process parameter. So during production, we got a request that user need to record specifying parameter related to the process, event, or environmental condition. So in this version of OurSys, we have now given provision to add a manufacturing process parameter that you can create based on your production parameter as well as the environment that you require. So as you can see in the master section, we have given the provision master called environment parameter, manufacturing process parameter. Here you can define your parameter and the number of sample that is required during the production. Here you can also group them similar to what we have given in the item inspection parameter, where you can club multiple parameter into one group, and then you can define the process in that parameter. Now, while making the daily production entry, once user puts all the data entry here, that is the accepted and rejected quantity, then under the shortcut link, you can see we have given link called production process parameter as well as environment parameter, where based on your process parameter, you can put the values that generated during the production as well as the unit of measurement with the remark section. Now, moving to the next link, production schedule is enhanced by showing the machine record. So, to find out which machine was used to produce a specific line item, so every time user or a planner had to go in the daily production report and search by item, and then the system will give them the output. Okay, so again, the particular line item, the last machine was used, and then he or she has to return go back to the production schedule and add the machine in their production plan. So it was a very time consuming task. In this version, what we have given is directly given a shortcut link at the production schedule, where user and planner can directly redirect by selecting the hyperlink, and he or she will get to know against the line item what was the last machine that was used. So as you can see in the image, we have given the link called production schedule, where user plan the job card according to their availability and material availability and schedule. Here you can see we have given a hyperlink. By clicking on the hyperlink, user will be directly redirected to the daily production page, where they will get to know which machine was used last for that particular line item. Production schedule report. So yeah, now previously we do not have a report where you user can see machine wise what are the job order are lined. So in this version we have given the report called machine production schedule wise machine report. Here you can see I have scheduled one machine for the for one line item, and here I have defined the planned time. Now when I go to the production module under the report section, there is a report called machine wise production schedule report, where you can see the date wise the machine and their particular job order planned with the operator name available. Production wise rejected quantity is shown during final inspection of the particular line item. So previously, if user wanted to see which part were rejected during the final inspection of item, they had to manually search through the entire production report. So this process was very time consuming because they had to shift through a lot of information to find the rejected part. With the latest version of OurSys, you can now see the rejection by process directly when you are at the final inspection stage. That means instead of checking rejection separately or going through extra step, the system will show you any rejected item or issue rights on the spot during the final inspection. This make it easier to identify and address any problem immediately, streamlining the inspection process. So, with the help of the image you can see here, while making a daily production entry, I have rejected three quantity as well as defined their rejection reason. Now, when I'm making the final inspection, you can see here we have given the intelligence button over here, where the production inspector, the QC inspector can directly select on the intel, and he will be able to see the process wise and the rejected quantity with their reason. Now moving to the next module, that is PPC. Validation of lot quantity according to bill of material quantity of a particular component. Now scenario. Imagine if you are making a mail conductor or any body that requires a piece of a material, for example 2.2 meter. Now we have defined that in our bill of material. In the past, while running a material requirement planning in the system, it would immediately think that, for example, if there are a bar of length 1.1 meter each, so system will directly allocate them instead of thinking that they are two separate bar and cannot be used. So now in this version of ERP, there is a feature called validation for lot. So that flag we have given in the bill of material. When this flag is activated for particular component, system will check whether the lot is a complete lot and can be is a multiple of that particular line item, and it will make sure that a complete bar gets allocated, complete bar or a sheet gets allocated. So this helps ensuring that components are used in correct lot size and stock is managed efficiently. So with the help of the screen we can see here, this is the main line item that we are going to produce, that is a mail conductor body, and here it is the bill of material defined. You can see we have given a validation button whether this round bar need to be get validated while running the material planning, as we have defined this, yes. So 2.8 meter is required. Now if I check the stock for the particular line item, so system is showing me that currently 20 meters is available with me. And if we go on the detail side, we can see there are four lots, 20, 10 to 1.5 meter available each. So as you can see, the third and fourth lot cannot be used as they are less than the required bomb quantity. Now when I'm planning running a material plan against the particular line item, you can see I'm manufacturing for 100 quantity, and when I check the allocation part, system has only allocated me the first two lot that were of 20 meters and 10 meters respectively. You can see it has allocated 8.4 meter from the first lot and 19.6 meter from the second lot. Option 8 item master to do not consider in MRP. So, in past, while running material requirement planning simulation in OurSys, all selected and all selected items and their component were directly included in the simulation, whether you want to include them or not. So now OurSys has improved so that user can choose to exclude specific line item from the simulation. That means you can decide not to include certain items or their component in the material requirement planning calculation, making the simulation more flexible and tailored to their need. So yeah, in the screen you can see under the item master, under the inventory section, we have given a flag called do not consider at the material requirement planning. Once the flag is on, so if you run the material planning here, you can see the particular line item, that is the aluminum sheet, did not get considered in the planning. So there will be no job order or a purchase requisition will be generated. User can directly manually go and check whether the line item can be used, can then later be allocated to particular job or order. Item master is enhanced by providing option to decide manufacturing item based on bill of material. So previously, OurSys used the bill of material to figure out if an item should be considered as manufacturing product during the material requirement planning process. So if there was a bomb for an item, the system automatically it treated it as a something that need to be made and include in the MRP calculation. And if user don't want the item to be treated as manufactured, then they had to manually create a purchase requisition, which was very time consuming. So in simple words, an item has a BOM, it was marked for manufacturing by default. Now if user want to avoid this and have the item to be treated as purchase instead, they have to go through extra and lengthy step. Now, user can mark certain item as non-manufactured but still include them in the bill of material. This means these items will be treated as items that need to be bought out rather than made in-house. When you run a material requirement planning simulation, the system will automatically create a purchase requisition for those items. So know that what to be ordered. So with the help of image, let us understand. In the item master, under the inventory section, we have given a selection. So by default, system was already using based on bill of material. Now we have given a flag called manufactured or non-manufactured. So if you select non-manufactured radio button, even though this line item has a bill of material, while making the material request planning, you can see the purchase requisition of line item got raised. Now, moving to the next section, that is invoice. LUT bound number with validity date capturing provision. So, in the export invoice detail, user need to add the expiry date for the LUT bound number. This means you should include the date when the LUT bound number will no longer be valid. So, OurSys now has a feature where it keeps track of LUT bound number and their validity date. Whenever you create an export invoice, this information will automatically show up in the invoice detail. This helps ensure that the right bond number and its validity are always included without needing to manually add them each time. So under the master section, we have a link called LUT number, where a user can define the current valid LUT number and its validity date. Now, once it is defined, when you make a material invoice for export customer, if you go on the export detail of the shortcut link, you can see here if LUT is selected, then the system will check what is the current valid LUT number and it will automatically fetch this number here. Now moving to the next in invoice, option to edit business type while making invoice. So previously, when you created an invoice in the system, OurSys would automatically pick the business types such as business to customer, small business to customer, large or export based on the government rule. So this was a bit confusing for businesses that didn't nearly fit in those predefined categories. So, in the latest version of OurSys, we have given option to select the type of business for which you are creating the invoice. This means you can choose the specific kind of business like B2B, B2C small, B2C large or export that best fits your need. This make it easier to generate invoice that are tailored to different type of businesses. So yeah, in the screen you can see under the invoice module in the material invoice link, once you generate the invoice, a drop down will be available to the user. Here they can select. By default, system will suggest if the customer is GST registered, then B2B will come. But you can update them according to your need, and in your GSTR report, it will get reflected. Option to update transported detail related to e-way bill for multiple invoices. So sometimes user gets the e-way bill detail which are necessary for shipping and transportation days after they have already created the invoice. To make things easier, they need a way to update these detail for several invoices at once rather than doing it one by one. So now user can update the transporter detail for each invoice at the same time using a special screen called update invoice interface. So this make it easier to them to change the several invoices detail in one go instead of updating them one by one. So yeah, and in the invoice module there is a link called invoice update interface where user can directly put the invoice detail, that is the EV bill detail, the transporter, the shipping validity date in one go, and system will automatically update the particular data in those invoices automatically. So they do not have to go in each invoice and update the transporter detail. Customer credit limit check while making invoice is now enhanced. So previously, if customer hasn't reached the credit limit yet, the new invoices would push the total amount over their limit. So system would still let user to create new invoices. It would only show warning sign to them about the potential issue, but it wasn't stopping the invoice from being created. So now, if you try to create an invoice for a customer and the total amount of the invoice uh, is more than what customer is allowed to owe, then system will stop you from making that invoice. So under the customer master, We have provision to define the credit limit over here. As you can see, I have defined a credit limit for a customer for 1 lakh rupees. Now, as I check the customer outstanding, it is showing me that 99,000 is the total outstanding for the particular customer. Now, when I will try to create a material invoice, and if it exceeds the credit limit, then system will not allow me to generate the invoice. As you can see, the invoice generate button is missing and system is giving me a warning that current outstanding plus the current invoice grand total is greater than the credit amount limit defined in the customer master. Now moving to the next module, that is accounts. Settle the advance payment or receipt voucher during the creation or during the creation of payment or receipt voucher. So previously user had to separately access the advance payment or receipt voucher to record and settle it with the actual payment or receipt. So in other words, if they made an advance payment or received money in advance, they have to manually go to the corresponding voucher to match and confirm the payment of receipt. In OurSys, you can now handle the advance payment or receipt directly at the same time. You can create the payment of receipt voucher. That means you do not need to do it separately. You can settle these transaction right when you are recording them, making it making the process more quicker and easier. So let us understand with the image here. I have registered a purchase voucher against a supplier. So here you can see next to this supplier ledger, there is a hyperlink called settle. So if you click on the settle button, system will directly redirect me to the settle advances again purchase voucher page where all the advances against the supplier that you have sent them will appear and you can directly settle the receipt purchase voucher against it. Now, moving to the next module, supplier outstanding report enhanced. So previously in overseas, you could pass bill, but the supplier outstanding report didn't show which bill has been passed or which bill has been not. Now the report will clearly now the report will clearly identify the status of each bill, so you can easily see which one of the bill is pending to be processed. In simple words, the customer outstanding reports now let you filter and view which bill has been approved and which bill are still pending. So you can also use the filter option in the purchase voucher and purchase voucher other than inventory. This means you can easily check the status of bill and their voucher to see if they are processed or are still awaiting action. So in the accounts module, a link called supplier outstanding report. Here in the filter option, we have given an option called bill pass status. So in ours there is the feature called supplier bill passing where the purchase department and quality department can give instruction to the accounts team that there is no any rejection or debit note to be made. So this feature is very useful to communicate between the accounts department and the procurement department. Now the accounts team can directly check what are the current customer outstanding and their bills which are pending to be approved from the procurement department. Now, moving to the next module, amendment done in process layout are now recorded and shown in the comment section. So earlier changes made to the process layout were not recorded or visible. Now, when we make any changes to the process layout in the OurSys, we now show a list of these changes in the comment section. This way, you can see a record of what was modified directly in the comment. Under the master, we have a link called item process layout, where if you make any changes in the existing process layout, a comment will be posted here with defining what was the earlier process layout look and what is the current change that has been made. Now, import provision from Excel, a provision at the project plan. So OurSys makes it easier to bring in project module from Excel file. You can just upload an Excel file containing your project detail, and it will automatically import it into OurSys, saving you from having the entering the information manually. So under the project module, the project plan link, we have given an Excel sheet provision where you can directly get Excel file format in the system, and you can update the data and you can directly import that into the project plan. So the activities along with their additional detail like the start date and date responsible to will get updated here. Reason of planned date change in project plan. So sometimes user need to write down why a planned date for an activity was changed. They should mention if the change happened because something they could control, like a delay they caused, or if there was, or it was due to something outside their control, like unexpected event or issue from someone else. So now in overseas, when you change the date of project activity, you will now be prompt to enter a reason for the change. This helps to keep the track of why the date was adjusted. So under the master, we have given a link called project date change reason, where you can create the multiple reason that can cause your project date to get delayed. Now, once the master is created, I'll go to the project plan. Here you can see I have defined the start date, end date. So once I change that, system is asking me what is the reason for the date to be changed. So this drop down will come according to the master created in, and it will get stored here. So anytime if users see or management see the project plan, they can directly get a hyperlink to see the delay reason or the reason of the date change, we can say. Combined MIS report for multiple entities of company. Okay. So when a company uses overseas CRP, different overseas CRP for various parts. Let's say there is a two company who are using overseas. They have their separate databases, separate account, and all the activities, that is their procurement, sales, store, are kept differently. So we have now created a report, a new feature under MIS, where you can now view the combined report for both companies or multiple companies to get the report like sales, purchase, quotation, stock. This means you can see all the relevant information from these area in one place, making it quick, easier to track and manage business activities. So under the MIS, we have given this report, combined inquiry, order, purchase and receiving report. So this is valid for the company, for the customers who are having two or more than two companies and where overseas has been used. So this data can be combined and can be accessible to you. Sales representative wise summary of sales report enhanced. So the sales representative wise summary of sales report used to leave out or not include the debit and credit note when showing the sales data for each sales representative. So now the report has a feature that you let you choose whether to show or hide debit and credit note, including if you select this option, the report will show all the debit and credit note. If excluded, the report will not display any debit or credit note. This makes it easier to focus on the information that you need. So here in the MIS report, under the report called sales representative as summary of sales, in the search criteria we have given the filter considered text, debit and credit note. Non-moving supplier report on basis of sales. So in this version, we have developed a new report where you will be able to see uh, that what are the list of customer against that there has been no sales activities done for, you can say, last 90 days for a 6 month. So we have given the provision to select the date range at user level itself. So under the sales module, you can see there is a report called non-moving customer. Here, you will be able to see. So these are the list of customer, and these are the number of days that has been last order booked. So here you can see on the screen that against the Indian Railways, the last order acknowledgement was booked on 24th April, 25 April. So and system will also show you the date, last date, and accordingly you can take action against those customer, finding out the reason why there has been no new order from those customers and etc. Customer wise sales and invoice summary is now enhanced. Sorry for the inconvenience. So, under the MIS, we had a report called sales, customer by sales and invoice summary, where we would define the monthly detailed report for the invoices and the sales order in that report. Now, in this version, we have given provision in the search criteria of the report where you can select the report by default monthly basis, or you can select the report by quarterly or yearly basis. So here you can see customer by sales summary order analysis, and the similar report is also available under the invoice section where the customer wise invoice summary analysis report will be there. So previously here, there was only one grouping option available, that is on the monthly basis. Now, user and management can view this report using a quarterly and yearly radio button. So this would help to get them the report based on yearly or quarterly basis. Currency formatting option. So earlier, OurSys display money amount in lakhs. This means if you want to see figures in million or billion, you couldn't. Basically, it was limited to a certain way of showing money, which might not have been very helpful to everyone. So OurSys now allows user to pick the currency format they prefer for each dashboard. After they choose, all the result on the dashboard will be displayed in the selected currency format. So here, in the master section, we have a given link called short currency, where you can define the proportion either in millions, lakhs, crore, or billion. So once you define the master, when you view the dashboard, the system will show you the result in that particular proportion. Here I have defined my dashboard amount to be get shown in million. So system is showing me the result in million. And based on the user, they can define their currency format. Now moving to the next general update here, employee desk enhanced. So earlier, OurSys has launched a feature called OurSys Desk. So this tool let all the employees accessing their salary slip anytime and mark their attendance easily. There is no limit to how many workers that can use it. So we have the provision in the user master. While creating user master, we have given a radio button where you can define whether this is a user or a employee desk, where they can be assigned the right for HR modules. So now, in this version, in the updated version, we now allow users to easily enter their daily logs and submit their report that are specific to the project plan assigned to each person. So this makes it easier to track and work progress and project details. To track the work progresses. Here you can see under the user master, we can define here whether the employee is under the employee desk, whether this user is for employee desk, where all the basic rights would not be given, but the HR and project right would be given. So under the access management, you can see we have given now provision to assign them the link for their daily logs, to track their activity calendars and the list of pending activities. Now, option to attach system attached files while sending email through OurSys for particular transaction. So, user who wanted to attach document to email that is sent through OurSys had to first print out them, which took extra time and efforts, and then they have to manually attach those files to the email. This process was slow and inconvenient. Now, OurSys makes it easier for user to attach those documents to email directly within the system, and this saves the time by removing the extra step of downloading the document and then attaching them separately while sending the email. So here you can see, for example, while sending mail through OurSys, you can see this is the invoice screen. And here, under the document attachment, you can directly click on the attached document, where system will give you option either GST invoice to be attached or delivery challan to be attached, or all the three, sales order to be attached. So this will help user to send all the three documents in one go, rather than downloading each file and then separately attaching them to this mail. And you can save the configuration here, that every time the GST invoice along with the sales order is sent, so you can save this data, and every time you send the invoice to the customer through system, the data, the both the document will get automatically attached to the invoice. Automatic effect on the schedule quantity while amending the sales order or the purchase order. So, when users makes changes to the sales order or purchase order, they have to manually update the total quantity in the schedule first, and then they have to update them in the order quantity. So this step takes extra time, and user want the system to automatically update the schedule quantity when there is only one schedules involved. So there is only one schedule involved in it. So now, when you reduce the quantity in the sales order and the purchase order, and if there is only one scheduled quantity for that item, system will automatically lower the scheduled quantity for you. As you can see here, under the sales model, there is a transaction link called sales order. Here, I have made an order for quantity 100 pieces. Now, I am amending this order and I am changing the quantity from 100 to 90. Now, when I will go to the schedule, system will automatically reduce the schedule quantity from 100 to 90. So user don't have to manually first go to the schedule and then reduce the quantity there and then go to the order quantity reducing there. So this additional step will be gone if there is only one schedule for line item. Attribute for invoice and purchase requisition. So as you would be knowing that in previous few version we have now given provision to add attribute based on your choices. Now the similar we have implemented in the invoice as well as the purchase requisition module, where you can define or specify your attribute. Here you can see under the master we have given the master called invoice attribute, where you can create the field of your choice. Either it could be a text field or a date or a drop down or a multi selection drop down. Once you create the master here, while making the transaction, the attribute will be visible here, and you can update the data according to it. And similar in the purchase requisition, here we have given option to add the purchase requisition attribute. Here, the similar to the invoice attribute, either you can create the field or text box or date or drop down, and the same attribute will be available while making the purchase requisition. Now, using these attribute, you can also filter your reports. Now, making attribute mandatory. So, earlier, we have given provision to create the field of your own choices for a specific transaction. Now, we have given provision to mark those attribute as compulsory. So, if you have created a specific attribute for any particular transaction, here you can see under the purchase attribute, I have marked this attribute to be compulsory, so user won't be able to generate the document without updating the detail. As you can see here, while generating the document, system is giving me a remark and kindly enter the field, as we have marked this field as mandatory. No, so that's all